Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Lalema Aneja Dang, and with me is Subga Kaul with the Midday News. The headlines. Centre asks 7 states and Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir to step up containment measures to prevent spread of Delta Plus variant of Corona. Over 48,000 fresh cases of COVID reported across the nation in the last 24 hours. National recovery rate reaches 96.72%. More than 31 crore 50 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered to eligible adults across the country so far. Today is International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah laud all those working to eliminate drug menace. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar holds formal talks with his counterpart Nikos Dendias in Greece. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program at 11 a.m. tomorrow. DRDO successfully test fires enhanced Pinaka rocket off the Odisha coast. Former Home Minister of Maharashtra Anil Deshmukh skips summons by Enforcement Directorate in a money laundering case. Simona Halep of Romania withdraws from this year's Wimbledon tennis due to calf injury. And in Euro Cup football, Wales to take on Denmark in opening match of knockout stage today. As the nation gears up for free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years, we advise our listeners to get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 4 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene, and get vaccinated. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075. And now the news. Around 50 cases of Delta Plus variant have been reported in the country so far. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has said that this variant has been observed in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Gujarat, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Rajasthan, Jammu and Kashmir and Karnataka. The Delta Plus variant B.1.617.2.in/AY.1 is characterized by the K417N mutation in spike protein. Health Ministry has said that the role of AY.1's role in immune escape disease severity or increased transmissibility is under continued surveillance. Meanwhile, Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan has written to the Chief Secretaries of Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, Karnataka, Punjab, Jammu and Kashmir and Haryana to step up containment and contact tracing to prevent the spread of Delta Plus variant. It has been asked to take up containment and preventive measures in affected districts on a priority basis. Earlier, a letter was written to the states of Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and Kerala to take steps to contain the spread of Delta Plus variant.
The country continues to register significant decline in active caseloads and fresh cases of COVID-19. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry has said more than 64,000 patients have recovered from COVID and over 48,000 new cases were reported in the last 24 hours. The active caseload presently comprises 1.97% of the cumulative positive cases and it is continuously declining. The country has registered a decline of over 17,000 active cases in the last 24 hours. The country is also witnessing a declining trend in the weekly and daily positivity rate. This is the 19th consecutive day when the country has reported a daily positivity rate below 5%. India's daily recoveries continue to outnumber the daily new cases for the 44th consecutive day. A total of 64,818 patients have recovered from coronavirus disease within 24 hours. The recovery rate has reached 96.72% in the country. Over 2 crore 91 lakh patients have already been recovered from this infectious disease so far. The Union Health Ministry has said a total of 1,183 deaths have been reported in the country within 24 hours, taking the toll to over 3,94,000 across the country. Indian Council of Medical Research has informed that over 17,45,000 COVID tests were conducted yesterday. India has achieved significant landmark by administering over 31 crore COVID vaccine doses as the nationwide vaccination drive has picked up pace. With the availability of more vaccines and improvement in the vaccine supply chain, and with the active support of states and union territories, the union government is continuously engaged in expanding the scope of COVID vaccination drive. Over 31 crore 50 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered to the beneficiaries so far across the country. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry has said over 60 lakh 19,000 vaccine doses were administered to the beneficiaries in the last 24 hours alone.
The Health Ministry has said that more than 31 crore 17 lakh vaccine doses have been provided free of cost by the centre to the states and the union territories so far. It said that more than 1 crore 45 lakh COVID vaccine doses are still available with the states and union territories to be administered. The ministry further added that more than 19 lakh 10,650 vaccine doses are in the pipeline and will be received by the states and union territories within the next 3 days. New initiatives are being taken up to increase the speed of corona vaccination in Madhya Pradesh. A pink vaccination centre has been set up in Burhanpur district where most of the work is being handled by women. Here's a report from Bhopal.
Usually, you must have heard of pink polling booths during elections, but pink vaccination center has been set up by the administration in Burhanpur. This pink immunization center has been set up to remove hesitation and convince among women. Municipal Corporation Deputy Commissioner Salim Khan says that here, apart from the male officers engaged in vaccination work, no male entry has been given at this pink vaccination center.
हमने ये सोचा कि जो हमारी पर्दे वाली महिलाएं हैं और जो लेडीज हैं, जो जेंट्स के सामने आने से थोड़ा सा भी वो झिझकती हैं, उनकी झिझक निकालने के लिए और उनको ज्यादा से ज्यादा यहाँ पे वैक्सीन के लिए हमने ये पिंक बूथ का यहाँ पर कलेक्टर साहब के निर्देशन में ये बनाया है.
Not only this, vaccination center have also been set up near laborers and minority-dominated areas. Such innovations being done for vaccinations are becoming an example in the state. Rashid Ahmed Khan, AIR News, Bhopal.
The Assam government has issued revised standard operating procedures, relaxing curfew timings in Kamrup Metro District until 4 p.m. However, a total lockdown will be imposed in Gwalpara, Biswanath, Morigaon and Bokakhat subdivision in Golaghat districts starting from Monday for a week. Health Minister Keshav Mahanta informed that shops can remain open till 3 p.m. from the present timing of 1 p.m. Moreover, 247 areas have been identified across Assam which will be declared as containment zones.
Maharashtra government has issued new guidelines in the backdrop of the prevailing threat of the third wave as well as the traces of new Delta Plus variant in some of the COVID patients in the state. There is a possibility of the spread of this variant on a large scale. The variant seems to be the most dangerous in terms of spread of the infection, capacity to attack the cells of the lungs, and reduction in the response of monoclonal antibodies. Meanwhile, an 80-year-old patient died in Ratnagiri due to COVID infection from a new Delta Plus variant. Guardian Minister of Ratnagiri, Anil Parab, immediately took stock of the situation and directed the district collector to take all the precautions. On the other hand, the number of mucormycosis patients are declining gradually in Mumbai. There are 388 mucormycosis patients in Mumbai.
The Department of Biotechnology, through its Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council, has funded a COVID-19 vaccine testing center at the Viral Biosafety Level 3 facility in the Center for Infectious Diseases Research situated at the Bengaluru campus of Indian Institute of Science. Here's more from our Bengaluru correspondent.
Viral Biosafety Level 3 facility in the Indian Institute of Science studies emerging viral pathogens, cell culture, especially in SARS-CoV-2. It is helping industry partners in evaluating COVID-19 antibodies, biomonitor and testing sterilization technologies. Now with the funding from the Central Department of Biotechnology, the Level 3 facility will have high-end equipment and initial support for personnel operating in the facility. This will encourage research to develop assays for evaluating antivirals and vaccines against SARS-CoV-2. It will also support development of antivirals and vaccines for influenza, dengue, chikungunya and HIV. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
Tamil Nadu government has formed a 16-member committee headed by Director of Tourism as its chairman to revive tourism in the state. Our Chennai correspondent has the details.
Tamil Nadu has 1,809 places of tourist attractions and 208 destinations with 5 World Heritage Sites. According to this by Ministry of Tourism in 2019, Tamil Nadu ranked second in the country with more than 49 crore domestic tourists, which is 21% share of the total number of tourists in the country. With no international flight being operated for tourists in Chennai, tourism has been badly hit and so is the foreign exchange. The State Tourism Committee has been assigned the task of recommending standard operating procedures to resume tourism in the state. Formal discussions will begin shortly to formulate a plan involving the majority of stakeholders. Joy, AIR News, Chennai.
President Ram Nath Kovind reached Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh on his 5-day visit of the state yesterday. He reached Kanpur Central Railway Station yesterday evening in a special presidential train. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and Governor Anandiben Patel welcomed the President and his family at their arrival. During his 5-day tour, President will visit his birthplace, Parong in Kanpur Dehat district, and later he will go to state capital Lucknow. Today, Mr. Kovind will meet some dignitaries in Kanpur. He will take part in programs scheduled at his birthplace tomorrow. More from our correspondent.
Special presidential train reached Kanpur Central Railway Station at around 7:45 p.m. in evening yesterday. During the journey from Delhi to Kanpur, the special presidential train stopped at Jhinjak and Rura stations of Kanpur Dehat, where the President interacted with his old acquaintances. President received a grand welcome at these stations. The 2 stopovers are close to President's birthplace, village Parong of Kanpur Dehat, where 2 functions to felicitate him are scheduled tomorrow. On Monday, the President will board the train at Kanpur Central Railway Station to reach Lucknow for his 2-day visit to the state capital. On June 29th, he will return to New Delhi. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Kanpur Dehat.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will hold formal talks with his Greek counterpart Nikos Dendias today. On the first leg of the two-nation official visit, the minister reached Greece last night. He was welcomed by the Foreign Minister of Greece upon arrival, and they held productive discussions on regional and global issues. In a tweet, Dr. Jaishankar said he looks forward to the formal talks and added that Greece is an important partner in India's broader EU engagement. This is the first visit to Greece at the level of External Affairs Minister since 2003. After Greece, the minister will travel to Italy to attend the G20 ministerial meetings. The G20 summit is scheduled to be held in Italy in October this year. The Defence Research and Development Organization, DRDO, successfully test-fired extended-range version of indigenously developed Pinaka rocket from a multi-barrel rocket launcher at Integrated Test Range Chandipur off the coast of Odisha. 25 enhanced Pinaka rockets were launched in quick succession against targets at different ranges. All the mission objectives were met during the launches.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews Ayodhya development projects through video conferencing. Centre asks 7 states and union territories of Jammu and Kashmir to step up containment measures to prevent spread of Delta Plus variant of Corona. Over 48,000 fresh cases of COVID reported across the nation in the last 24 hours. National recovery rate reaches 96.72%. More than 31 crore 50 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered to eligible adults across the country so far. Today is International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah laud all those working to eliminate drug menace. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program at 11 a.m. tomorrow. DRDO successfully test fires enhanced Pinaka rocket off Odisha coast. Former Home Minister of Maharashtra Anil Deshmukh skipped summons by Enforcement Directorate in a money laundering case. Simona Halep of Romania withdraws from this year's Wimbledon tennis due to calf injury. And in Euro Cup football, Wales to take on Denmark in opening match of knockout stage today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं।
centre is disseminating awareness of national helpline numbers for the benefit of citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic. The helpline number of the Health and Family Welfare Ministry is 1075. The child helpline number is 1098. For senior citizens of Delhi, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, the helpline number is 14567. The helpline number of the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, NIMHANS, for psychological support is 080 4611 00007. The Ayush COVID-19 counselling helpline number is 14443. And MyGov WhatsApp help desk number is 9013151515.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today reviewed the development plan for Ayodhya. During the virtual meeting, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath presented a vision document for the development of Ayodhya. Government officials made a presentation which encompassed various aspects of Ayodhya's development. Ayodhya's development is being envisaged as a spiritual center, global tourism hub and a sustainable smart city. The Prime Minister described Ayodhya as a city that is etched in the cultural consciousness of every Indian. He said, Ayodhya is both spiritual and sublime, and the human ethos of the city must be matched by a futuristic infrastructure which is beneficial for everyone, including tourists and pilgrims. Mr. Modi stressed that the coming generations should feel the desire to visit Ayodhya at least once in their lifetime. The Prime Minister said that the way Lord Ram had the ability to bring people together, the development works of Ayodhya should be guided by a spirit of healthy public participation, especially by the youth. During the meeting, Prime Minister was informed about various upcoming and proposed infrastructure projects to improve connectivity with Ayodhya. An upcoming greenfield township was discussed, which includes lodging facilities for devotees, space for ashrams, mutts, hotels, bhavans of various states.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio at 11 a.m. tomorrow. It will be the 78th episode of the monthly radio program. It will be broadcast on the entire network of AIR and Doordarshan and also on AIR News website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR mobile app. On International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has lauded all those working at the grassroots levels to eliminate the menace of drugs from our society. In a series of tweets, Mr. Modi said that every such effort to save lives is vital. He said that drugs bring with it darkness, destruction and devastation.
Drugs तीन बातों को लाता है और मैं उसको कहूंगा एक बुराइयों वाला एक 3D है. मनोरंजन के 3D की मैं बात नहीं कर रहा हूं. एक D है डार्कनेस, दूसरा D है डिस्ट्रक्शन और तीसरा D है डिवास्टेशन. नशा अंधेरी गली में ले जाता है, विनाश के मोड़ पे आकर खड़ा कर देता है और बर्बादी का मंजर इसके सिवाय आपके नसीब में कुछ नहीं होता है. इसलिए ये बहुत ही चिंता के विषय पर मैंने चर्चा की है.
Mr. Modi called upon everyone to reiterate their commitment to share facts on drugs and realize vision of a drugs-free India. He reminded everyone that addiction is neither cool nor a style statement.
Home Minister Amit Shah has reiterated the centre's commitment towards zero-tolerance policy against all kinds of narcotics. Mr. Shah has applauded the efforts of Narcotics Control Bureau personnel towards eliminating the drug menace in India. Maharashtra's former Home Minister Anil Deshmukh today skipped summons by the Enforcement Directorate for questioning in a money laundering case. As informed by ED officials, the agency had summoned both Anil Deshmukh and his son, but they failed to remain present. They had given a letter to the ED stating that they will not be able to remain present today before the agency. The ED in a money laundering case conducted searches yesterday at the residence of Anil Deshmukh in Nagpur and also in Mumbai. Deshmukh's personal secretary Sanjeev Palande and personal assistant Kundan Shinde were taken into custody in connection with the charges of money laundering. The CBI had earlier investigated Deshmukh's house in the Sachin Waze case, and the ED had raided the office and residence of Deshmukh's close associates in Nagpur. The case pertains to the allegations of corruption levelled by former Mumbai Police Commissioner Parambir Singh against Anil Deshmukh in March this year. The ED had then registered a money laundering case against him and started a probe in connection with the case.
Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma handed over appointment letter to Borsing Bey as a constable in Assam Police today. He was working as home guard earlier. Recently, Mr. Bey came to limelight by recovering drugs worth 12 crore rupees during a checking in a bus at Karbi Anglong. During the raid, he was offered bribe by the peddlers, but Borsing refused to it. Appreciating his heroic work, Director General of Assam Police offered him 1 lakh rupees. Recently, State Cabinet took a decision to promote Borsing as a constable in the police force. US President Joe Biden met Afghan President Ashraf Ghani and Dr. Abdullah Abdullah, chairman of the High Council for National Reconciliation at the White House today. He called on Afghans to decide the future of their country as the last US troops pack up after 20 years of war. Biden called the Afghan leaders as two old friends and said that US support for Afghanistan was not ending but would be sustained despite the American troops pull out. He added that the senseless violence has to stop. Afghan President Ghani said he respects Biden's decision and that the partnership between the United States and Afghanistan is entering a new phase and that the two countries are determined to have unity and coherence.
In the U.S., Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin has been sentenced to 22.5 years in prison for the murder of George Floyd during an arrest in May 2020. The video of the incident had galvanized a national protest movement against racism last year. A jury found Chauvin guilty on April 20 of unintentional second-degree murder, third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter in the death of Floyd. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, whose office prosecuted the case, said that Chauvin's sentence is one of the longest given against using unlawful deadly force in the United States. U.S. President Joe Biden, who has spoken several times with the Floyd family, said the sentence seemed appropriate. With 28 days to go for Tokyo Olympic Games, All India Radio will take a look at the face of India's woman pugilist Lavlina Borgohain, who will be competing in 69 kilogram weight category at the Tokyo Olympics.
Born on October 2, 1997 in Golaghat, Assam, Lavlina started her sporting career as a kickboxer along with her siblings. While her twin elder sisters Licha and Lima went on to compete on the national level in kickboxing, Lavlina decided to switch to boxing. The 23-year-old first hogged the spotlight with a bronze medal in 2017 Asian Championship. Lavlina was bestowed with the Arjuna Award by the Indian government for her service to the nation. Lavlina bagged her maiden Olympic berth as she toppled Uzbekistan's Maftuna Khan Melieva in the quarterfinals of the Asian Olympic qualifiers. She has been putting in a lot of work ahead of the Tokyo Olympics and is determined to win her maiden international gold medal.
इतना बड़ा कंपटीशन है, हर तरफ से परफेक्ट होके जाना पड़ेगा. थोड़ा सा इनसाइड खेलने की भी कोशिश कर रही हूँ कि कभी-कभी तो ऐसा बॉक्सर आ सकता है जिसके साथ में इनसाइड खेलना पड़ेगा. बॉक्सिंग में अभी तक गोल्ड मेडल नहीं लगा है ओलंपिक में. अगर मैं बन पाऊंगी तो मेरे लिए भी बहुत बड़ी बात होगी और मेरे फैमिली के लिए भी और मेरे देश के लिए.
Sports Desk, AIN News.
Defending Wimbledon women's champion Simona Halep of Romania has withdrawn from this year's Wimbledon due to calf injury. The 29-year-old world number 3 player suffered a tear in her left calf during the second round match against Germany's Angelique Kerber at the Italian Open in Rome in mid-May. She was also forced to withdraw from the French Open following that injury. Halep had won the Wimbledon in 2019, but it was cancelled in 2020 due to corona pandemic.
In the Euro Cup football, Wales and Denmark go head-to-head in the opening match of Euro 2020 round of 16 in Amsterdam today. A total of 16 teams have progressed to the pre-quarter-final stage or round 16. The teams are Wales, Denmark, Italy, Austria, Netherlands, Czech Republic, Belgium, Portugal, Croatia, Spain, France, Switzerland, England, Germany, Sweden and Ukraine.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for the day. The national capital Delhi is witnessing generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The minimum temperature was 26 degrees and the maximum may go up to 39 degrees Celsius. Mumbai is having generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius while the maximum is expected to be around 32 degrees. Chennai is also having generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The temperature will vary between 28 and 38 degrees Celsius. Kolkata has partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rains. Minimum temperature was 28 degrees Celsius and maximum will go up to 34 degrees. Jammu is having partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature was 23 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 38 degrees. Srinagar is having mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards evening. Temperature will hover between 15 and 29 degrees Celsius. Leh is facing generally cloudy sky. The minimum and maximum temperature will be between 10 and 25 degrees Celsius. Gilgit has partly cloudy sky with possibility of development of thunder lightning. The temperature will hover between 11 and 27 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad has partly cloudy sky with possibility of thunderstorm or dust storm. The minimum temperature was 19 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 38 degrees. Guwahati has generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The minimum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be 35 degrees. Agartala is having generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain. The minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be 34 degrees. Itanagar is having generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. The minimum temperature was 22 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be 32 degrees. Gangtok is having generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain. The minimum temperature was 17 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be 23 degrees. Kohima is having generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The minimum temperature was 17 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be 26 degrees. Imphal is also having generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The minimum temperature was 22 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be 30 degrees. Dehradun is facing thunderstorm with rain. The minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 36 degrees. Chandigarh is mainly having a clear sky. The minimum temperature was 22 degrees and the maximum will be 39 degrees Celsius. Hyderabad is having generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rains. Minimum temperature was 24 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 33 degrees. Ahmedabad has generally cloudy sky with light rain. The minimum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 36 degrees Celsius. Bhopal is having generally cloudy sky with possibility of thunderstorm. The minimum temperature was 22 degrees and the maximum will be 34 degrees. Lucknow has partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature was 26 degrees and the maximum will go up to 35 degrees Celsius. Patna is having generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rains. The minimum temperature was 27 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around the same.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews Ayodhya development projects through video conferencing. Centre asks 7 states and Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir to step up containment measures to prevent spread of Delta Plus variant of Corona. Over 48,000 fresh cases of COVID reported across the nation in the last 24 hours. National recovery rate reaches 96.72%. More than 31 crore 50 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered to eligible adults across the country so far. Well, today is International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah laud all those working to eliminate the drug menace. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to share his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program at 11 a.m. tomorrow. DRDO successfully test fires enhanced Pinaka rocket off the Odisha coast. Former Home Minister of Maharashtra Anil Deshmukh skipped summons by Enforcement Directorate in a money laundering case. Simona Halep of Romania withdraws from this year's Wimbledon tennis due to calf injury. And in Euro Cup football, Wales to take on Denmark in opening match of knockout stage today. Well, for details of these stories and more, you may log on to our website www.newsonair.com and also on News on AIR app. And with that, we end the Midday News.